curse it. So we've learned that if you're right there when a fire breaks out and you have a fire extinguisher, you've got about 30 seconds to put out the fire. If you can't, get out. And don't forget, you've got to have an escape plan because time is against you. Along with a fire extinguisher, another important tool that most people don't know about is the door. It will help keep the flames, the heat, and the smoke out. Listen to this message.
A fire breaks out on the first floor of a two-family house. Door. The woman quickly leaves to call the fire department. Door. And 2 people die upstairs, overcome by smoke. Door. A man smoking in bed starts a fire. The door. Leaves the bedroom, rushes to a phone. The door. And before the fire department gets there, the door. The rest of his house burns down. The door. Is there one single act that could have been done? Close the door. To help prevent this needless loss of life and property. Close the door. What should these people have done? Close the door. Do you know that a door is one of the best pieces of firefighting and life-saving equipment? Close the door. And if you leave a room that is on fire, close the door. If you simply close the door, it will help stop the fire and smoke from spreading too quickly. Close the door.
We hope you never experience a fire, but statistics tell us that most of us will. It is frightening, but you've learned some of the basic facts about surviving in fires. And if you plan to get out alive, you can. Others have, and you will too.
Knowing what to do saved my life. I mean, I know that now. But knowing, when I saw the people in there using every bit of energy they had to panic, every bit of energy to scream, not 1 ounce of energy was put into any thought. That's what killed some of those people.
My sister opened the door and I could see a lot of smoke coming in, and that's how I knew that, that's how I was sure that there was a fire in Katie's room. And she grabbed my hand. She grabbed my hand and I took a deep breath of what oxygen was left in my room, and I holded it until I holded it as long as I could until I couldn't hold it anymore, and then I breathed the smoke, and I ran downstairs and I shaked my brother a lot, and I almost yelled in his ear, and I said, "Chris, wake up, there's a fire in Katie's room."
The child takes the cigarette lighter, and it has a little wheel, and then it becomes a toy, and they zoom, they run it along the ground, and they see the spark, and they go boom. Then they take their little fingers and put it on the trigger, and they go boom, boom, and now they have a fire. And unlike a match, that match will go out sometimes, but this fire will not go out. And they'll go under a bed or in a closet, and then the fire will get going, and it'll be out of control, and they don't know what to do. They don't know enough to run because they're so young. And what happens, the fire gets out of control. And that combination, the most destructive force in nature, fire, and children, is a losing combination.
I took the elevator, not knowing there's a fire. Knowing the first rule, of course, is when you know there's a fire, you don't take the elevator. But I didn't know there was a fire. And when I got off on the 7th floor, the entire elevator, the door opened, and the entire elevator filled with smoke. So thick and so black that you could not see your hand in front of your face. But immediately I dropped to the floor, so my mouth and head were only about inches from the floor. And there I could see and I could breathe. And at that time I was banging on the alarm of the elevator, which I think the power was going off, but it did close, and it crept down to the 6th floor and opened partly where someone pulled me out. But the smoke was so thick you could not breathe. It is the most frightening experience you could imagine.
First there's nothing, all of a sudden, intense heat. I didn't feel pain right away, though I guess you're in shock. I felt pain afterward. You feel intense heat. Well, there's no way to describe it. I mean, put your finger on a match and you get a little idea, but your whole body is engulfed in this heat.